Hello.
Hello.
For the third time.
For the third time. It's our third take because we keep ballsing this up, so we're going to try and get this, done without any unnecessary fuckery.
Alright, so this is the first in our series of looking back at classic games on various platforms. I mean, you've got to remember, to us, we weren't around in the 80s,
No.
So there won't be a lot of games from that sort of period. I mean, there will be some. There'll be some NES and SNES games
you
like
can dredge up.
But our childhood was sort of PS1 leading into PS2 and GameCube kind of era.
Yeah.
So it's mainly going to be that sort of thing. And the first one we're going to take a look at is Timesplitters 2. Way back in 2002 when Hunter Thompson was still alive.
You're really going to use that as a reference point?
Yep.
Okay. Well, for the three of you who get that reference, 2002. Yes, and that was, and Timesplitters 2 is, in our opinion, the best FPS, certainly, well, probably the best FPS ever, I think. Best multiplayer FPS.
Definitely multiplayer.
Definitely multiplayer. There have been other better ones, but multiplayer on that game.
No, I think maybe overall as well.
Mm.
Definitely multiplayer, possibly overall. But yeah, so Timesplitters 2 came out way back in 2002 when we were 9.
We were 9.
We were 9 when it
So
came
we were
out.
9.
And it will be its 10th anniversary this
In
October.
So we decided to do the video now.
Yeah.
Because we're organised.
We'll probably do a Let's Play on October, and
Well, so we
I don't know, I'll probably do a video dressed as Harry Tibbler.
Fair enough.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Let's do that.
It'll be one of the banana henchmen. Anyway, 2002, Timesplitters 2 comes out. Timesplitters 1, it was reasonably successful, but it was seen as something of a curiosity.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, Timesplitters 1 isn't as fondly remembered.
No, perhaps not.
But I think
I don't think it's unfairly maligned.
No, but I think it's not necessarily looked upon as badly.
No.
But I think Timesplitters 1 is the kind of game that it sort of paved the way for its sequel.
Yeah.
And Timesplitters 2, this is way back, the pre Call of Duty, pre Halo, when you didn't have regenerating health, you didn't have restrictions on how many weapons you could carry, and
No
there
cover
was
system.
no cover system, and there was nothing. Yeah, no cover system. Killzone 2, and there was nothing to get in the way of the action.
No.
Because I was just thinking, looking back at like Call of Duty, for example, you've got the perks and sort of kill streaks leading you to rewards and all that sort of thing, and it's constantly vying to unlock new stuff.
Yeah, there's no unlocking apart from you get characters for completing stuff.
Yeah, you get characters and maps and things,
Yeah.
but they're all done outside.
Yeah.
Whereas when you actually get into the multiplayer portion of Timesplitters 2, it's basically you and up to 3 other people with a group of bots just fighting in a map.
Yeah.
With various weapons, no restriction of the weapons either. You've got stuff like anywhere from bricks to homing launchers,
To crossbow, to laser pistol,
all sorts of stuff.
fire extinguisher, which doesn't do anything.
Which is helped by the fact that, and as I'll explain shortly, the single player takes place in various points through time, including the future. And space.
It's about
Space. I'm gonna go space.
we're getting distracted.
Yes. Anyway,
Bring it.
inside the maps, the only things that come up are telling you how long you've got to go or how many points
And
you've got.
a
to
little
go.
thing will flash in the corner. If you kill someone, it'll show your score.
Yeah,
and team
it'll
score
tell you who
increasing
killed
by
you.
1.
No kill cam.
Nope.
No perks.
Nope.
No map.
Nope.
No. Oh, there's an ammo counter.
No, there isn't. There's an ammo counter, but they obviously have to have one of those.
Yeah, but that's about it. And
Keep
then
it
there are power-ups, including one that shrinks you, one that does more damage, one that makes you faster, and one that makes you invisible.
Yeah.
And
You can occasionally find body armor as well, which obviously it's another health bar.
you get an extra health bar. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
Nothing complex, nothing permanent, nothing intrusive. Just you find them lying around.
Now to people over the age of, should we say 10?
Probably, yeah, because we have a lot of 10-year-old viewers.
But I'm just in general, to people over the age of, shall we say, about 10, you will remember this time fondly as the time where shooters were fun and didn't have to have restrictions on them.
And there was no thinly veiled racism.
No thinly veiled racism.
Right.
Unless it's against monkeys.
Well, yeah, but monkeys. But brief aside moment here, open brackets. We hate the monkeys. Anyone who picks the monkey is a cheap, cheating bastard who should die on fire.
Yes, because anyone who hasn't played Timesplitters, basically there's a monkey character in the game, and he's actually because he's a monkey, he's shorter than everyone else, so he's a lot harder to hit, but he's just as good at hitting you.
So if you use the monkey, you're an awful human being.
Yeah.
That's all we'll say.
You deserve to be shot into space.
Space.
Anyway,
Rant over.
so the single player mode is basically about these aliens called Timesplitters.
See?
I have no idea where they came from.
From space.
Actually, you kind of find out in the third one where they come from, but it's been a while since I played it. But in this one, basically, they be aliens, and they take these things called time crystals, which are no way ripped off from Crash Bandicoot, because these are green. And they're green and they're not straight.
Oh.
And they jump into this Stargate. Stargate-esque thing, and they go into various periods in time. You've got 90s Siberia, 30s Chicago, Notre Dame in the 1800s, which has zombies in it.
Near future Tokyo, which is fun.
Yeah, which looks like Blade Runner.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. And then various space levels, like an alien planet and that sort of thing.
Via the Wild West and some mine temples and just generally fun stuff.
Yeah, and a robot factory.
Just to keep it fresh.
Yeah. But anyway, and the idea of this is, so right off the bat, you've got a lot of variety in this game. It's not like in a lot of games where, a lot of games these days are just taking place in the same area anyway. Which
random in sort of insert name here, Stan, and Russia.
They can be good though, because Crysis 2 managed to have a compelling story and gameplay despite being entirely set in identical looking areas of New York.
That's true.
This
wasn't quite identical. There was some clear definition of the areas, but I see what you mean.
But they all looked reasonably similar.
Yeah,
it was clear. It was just took place in New York.
Yeah,
but this is back in the days when a story mode was more of a framing device, and you could go to all these crazy places because this was basically time splitters had chosen random areas in time and leapt back into them, and it's perfectly feasible. Given the frame of the story, you don't ever think, oh, I wouldn't be here, because it's just enough sci-fi in it.
Yeah.
So it's not confusing or anything.
No.
And it's not sort of like a space opera.
No.
But you can go to these places, and not a lot of plot apart from that. There's a little bit of plot.
Like, a bit of plot,
each stage has a bit of plot, but it's never. It's got a text thing at the start of the level, like the Chicago one is a cop who gets run out by a corrupt force and becomes a PI and things.
Truthfully, if you blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah, you're not here for the story.
But you won't be any poorer off for it. It's really like I said, it's a framing device, but it's a framing device without it being set piecey. It's not like it's set up and there are a series of things, script events, these will happen at these points, and it will all go off, and you'll just kind of muddle through them. No. It's just a framing device that this is an area, this is where shit's going down. Whoop-ha!
But then again, on the flip side, it's not the kind of game where something completely different will happen each time. It's not the sort of randomly generated events kind of game.
There is.
There's it's very structured.
Yeah.
But it's not. But it's a lot more fun to play through. Cause it's not just like returning to Call of Duty again. It's not like action set pieces that will play out exactly the same every time, punctuated by maybe a corridor that might be different.
Yeah.
Because the game might have glitched somewhat. Like I was Modern Warfare 2, there's one level where all the Russians are just frozen in the air like that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why, they're just broken.
They just love Michael Jackson's Thriller video.
I'm going to be glad they're there. I don't have to kill them now.
Exactly.
But, as we'll explain in later videos, I'm not a fan of Call of Duty.
No, neither of us.
I play it because I think it's a guilty pleasure for me, because I like some of the sort of the Task 141 levels, Task Force 141 levels, but generally I don't like Call of Duty.
They're not great games.
Anyway, so you've got the single player mode, which is it can be very punishing.
It can at times.
There's not a lot of balance between easy mode and normal mode.
No, it's
quite
a step up.
If you don't know what you're doing, it can be quite hard.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of health packs. There's like one checkpoint per level.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's back in the days where you had to actually be careful.
Yeah.
Like you had to, actually be aware of what you were doing. So you've got the single player the campaign, and then you've got a which is just a story mode, not a campaign. It's just a story mode.
Yeah.
Despite having hardly any story.
Yeah.
Then that's
technicality.
That's 1 to 2 player. And then you've got challenges where you do things like behead zombies, collect bananas,
shoot watermelons.
That was going to be the next one. Yeah. Shoot watermelons. Sometimes being carried by monkeys.
Yeah. Well.
Shooting cardboard cutouts.
Generally.
Breaking glass as well in 2. You have to break glass with bricks. You have to. Is that the second one or is the third one? It might be the third one.
But the point is, there's lots. Mainly, they revolve around shooting stuff.
Yeah, and you do these. These are fun in themselves, and you also do them to a lot of new characters and maps and weapons, etc., etc. Then you've got Arcade League, which is it's sort of the same thing, but it'll essentially be an arcade map with bots and some sort of restriction. Like it might be a shrink match, or it might be a map in which you can use a certain type of weapon, and they'll all have like some sort of funny vignette story, and it'll be like there'll be a reason for them to only be using these weapons. But I think it's nice that they have a little. It's not just these people have these weapons for no reason. It's because they come up with a little quirky reason for them to actually be this way. And then you've got the meat of the arcade map, the arcade mode, and the reason most people remember Timesplitters 2 so fondly, which is the arcade custom, which is your basic multiplayer kill-a-thon. It's offline. Timesplitters 2, 1 to 4 players.
What separates it from a lot of the games now is the amount of modes you've got in it. Because there's deathmatch, team deathmatch,
capture the bag,
bag tag.
So you've got your obvious ones, and you've got stuff like
elimination, so 1 life and you're out. Vampire, where you kill people. As you shoot people, you get health. Virus, where your health is constantly dropping. Is that virus?
Yeah, that's leech. I think.
Oh, that's leech.
That's leech, similar sort of thing.
It's constantly falling.
Virus is basically one person is on fire.
Oh, that's right.
And if they touch someone else, they become on fire, and it's the last person standing.
When the time goes off.
Flame tag, one person is on fire, and when they pass on, they're no longer on fire, and it's whoever's been on fire for the least amount of time at the end. Monkey assistant, where you have the person last place like monkeys. Shrink, where the person last place gets smaller, like everyone is increases size. So I think the main thing that punctuates Timesplitters that just running through it is this real amount of creativity and a real amount of imagination, because I mean it knows it's a shooting game. It's not trying to be anything other than an FPS.
There's no real kind of like message. There's no overarching sort of this is important and intelligent and this revolutionise the world. No, it's just fun.
It's an FPS, and it knows it's an FPS, and it's like they've essentially said, well, we know we're an FPS, let's just make it cool, let's make it fun, and let's make people want to play it.
But fun is the central theme of that game. Like everything comes back to fun, but everything in that game is designed for no other reason than to give the people playing it an enjoyable time. So you don't have to worry about kind of the bots kind of just do what they do, apart from the occasional cheapness, which allows them to jump and roll when you can't do either of those things.
No idea why they can do that.
So you could have 5 weapons from any kind of variation on the game's multitude, which range from, like we said, bricks to fire extinguishers to laser pistols to crossbows to regular shotguns, machine guns,
to the dual SPB-90 machine guns, which are the best things in the game.
If you get that, you've essentially won.
Yeah.
You can't really be touched when you've got.
You're essentially one button press away from winning.
But at the same time, even with a gun that powerful, it doesn't feel cheap.
No,
because you can still
bring it back if you're good enough.
Mm.
But again, a lot of it can be held down to chance.
A
lot of it can be if you've got a very good weapon.
If you come across the good weapon pickup first. As a point, weapons lying around places. Weapon pickups, you don't see those much anymore. But in lots of FPSs, generally you start with a gun and another gun. If you kill someone, you can take their gun. That's not in Timesplitters.
It's just weapons lying around.
Yeah, in Timesplitters, there's just weapons kind of down the end, just revolving. And if you touch them, you suddenly have them.
And you don't have any hands either, unless you punch.
Yeah.
It's just a gun floating in the air. And I always liked that, because in Timesplitters 3 they brought in having hands on the guns, but I always quite liked the...
Wasn't the same.
It suited, because all of Timesplitters 2 has this great, really quirky sense of humour running through it, and that just suited it. Also, the animation in it is really rather good.
Yeah, that's actually...
In a funny way.
Yeah,
because it's like basically... so I can get in front of the camera. Basically, when you punch, your arms go... And if you actually view a character model doing that, they're not doing that. They're actually going... And that's not how you punch.
No. Well, that's clearly how they punch.
It works, to be fair.
Yeah, it does work. What's better than you think?
No fighting style I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
It's the Timesplitters way.
But hey, they were running on a PS2. There's only so much you can do with that kind of lower processing power.
Yeah.
Pretty sure my phone is more powerful than the PS2. I have a shit phone.
I love me some PS2.
No, the PS2 is good. It's good.
That's another thing. We'll go into how good PS2s are later. But PS2s, I think a lot of these games are going to be on PS2 because it had such a good back catalogue.
It did.
It had a lot of great third-party support.
You will give us exclusives, and you will give us exclusives now. And everyone went, alright.
Okay, there's no one's made a GameCube yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what this Xbox thing is.
Yeah, no. But we already know what a PlayStation is, so let's go with that.
Yeah.
Brand recognition. That's why that thing happened.
Anyway, one of the things we will point about Timesplitters 2 is it's great from a nostalgic point of view. You know, it was one of those games where there's so much in it. So, because I think nowadays you can buy a game for 40 quid, and there's hardly anything in it. Like they might say, particularly if you don't care about an online multiplayer, and you buy a game for 40 quid, you finish the
campaign
the single player. Yeah, like I often, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but with the amount of I'm not trying to brag anything, but with the amount of time I actually play video games, what with having to get them out of the way so I can review them, I often finish games in a day, and this is the kind of game where you can finish the single player campaign in a day, no problem, but you're nowhere near completing the actual game itself.
No.
And it's one of those games where you actually want to play them things because they're just as fun. There's a map maker system as well. I mentioned quickly. I haven't actually used that much because I can never be asked to actually use it properly.
So the maps on the game work work well as it is. It's not really need more.
But the map maker system works fine. I'm not going to knock it. I'm just saying I was never bothered to make proper maps with it. But yeah. But it holds up in a nostalgia way, and also it still holds up now.
It does.
We were playing it just before the first take of this video, which was about half an hour ago.
Yeah, it was. We've been at this a while.
Just before the first take of this video, we were actually playing the game, and it still holds up.
It does.
It's still fun. It still seems reasonably well balanced. It's it's a game. It's a fun game.
It's fun.
It's supposed to be fun, and it sets out to be. It's not overly serious. There's no hammy plot tying it down. There's no perks.
There's no attempt at realism.
Yeah, it's just
it's fun.
It's basically a framing device that it makes there's an excuse for people from various
points in history.
Yeah, various times
and the future. That's a point. Quick point about the future. Everyone from the future sounds like they're in porn.
Yeah.
You have Hank Nova, Candy Skylar, Barbie Gimp. Trying to think of the rest of them.
The rest of them aren't so bad as the main.
Those three are the main ones. Hank Nova, Candy Skylar, Barbie Gimp.
Yep, I thought she was Baby Gimp. And then turns out Barbie Gimp, but that's not really bad.
It's not really, is it?
But anyway,
we digress. It's fun.
As I said, it's a framing device for people from various points in time using various period weaponry.
Yeah.
And future weaponry to fight it out in various locations. And what more do you need?
Yeah.
It doesn't try to be anything more than it's not. Like Halo came out.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind the first Halo.
It was alright.
I don't think it deserved a 35 quid HD remake.
No.
Or re-release. Actually, it's not a remake. It's a re-release with buffed up graphics.
Yeah.
But before that, games were fun. Basically, it's all Halo's fault.
Yeah.
FPSs were fun before that.
Yep. It's all your fault. If you're watching Bungie, well, quite frankly, fuck you.
And it's not even like there are no good first-person shooters now.
No.
I mean, if you see it out, things like Half-Life 2, most people would say is the best first-person shooter ever made. That came out post Halo. You've got stuff like Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. They're great.
It's the
Crisis 2, The Darkness 2.
The issue is the rise of multiplayer.
Yeah.
Essentially, we're going to blame people wanting to play with other people. So if you have ever played video games with another person, it's your fault that Battlefield 3 exists.
Yep. That's a whiff of hypocrisy.
Well, a whiff of hypocrisy is the fact we spent all afternoon playing video games together. That's not the point. The point is, you're wrong.
You are wrong.
You are wrong.
Unless someone we actually know is watching.
Yeah, in which case, don't hate us. We love you. Once again, after that slightly massive tangent, closing statement.
Summing up then.
Timesplitters 3, it's fun, it's ludicrous, Go buy it.
And keep checking back on our channel.
Yeah.
Because
occasionally we'll do stuff.
what are we doing about Catherine?
I don't know. We'll do something about Catherine.
Okay, well, I'm still going to keep the horror channel going. I'm debating what game to do next. It might well be Call of Cthulhu, as the 15 people that watched the last video may have actually realised from the fact when I said I might be doing Cthulhu next week.
That.
Yeah, the next we'll be doing another classic game soon, along with a reviewing floor.
Hopefully next week.
And eventually we're going to start doing some Let's Plays.
Yes, when we can afford the hard/software necessary to make it happen.
With the games lined up, including Left 4 Dead 2, Castlevania HD, a Tiny Citizens 2 run. So yeah, and Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark
with fire rakes.
Fire rake.
Fire bullets.
Stay tuned for Fire Rake.
Keep checking back.